Hello again. In the last video we learned about how to make facial features, and in this video we are going to make some cool poses that fits our character. So let's get started. And you can see that I'm already drawing a lot. I made a new sheet where you can see the thumbnail on the top, and generally I zoom out a lot when I'm doing these thumbnails because it's supposed to be thumbnails and they're supposed to be quick and small. You don't want to go into details and stuff like that. You just want to go really quick about it. So this is an area where it might get hard, because doing these thumbnails is like, it looks easy, but there's a lot to it. You need to make a line of action in the character. So you can kind of see that my character has a line where the action is going through. And you also need to think about, is the character dynamic? Does it have a dynamic pose? Oftentimes you see the shoulders and the hips being opposite. So this is going to be, if you're not used to drawing people in poses, I suggest that you do it. You can go to Croquis, where you will draw a lot. I've been going for a year at least. Right now I'm not going, and that's because I'm too lazy, but I should really start going again. So every once or twice a week I sit down for 2 hours and just draw people in different poses. And that really helps when you're doing poses afterwards, because you can get some poses that looks alive and you know how the body general moves. The problem is still that when a person is sitting in poses, it can be so creative. I mean, there's so many things that the body can do, and that can be really hard to fake. But there are some general poses and some general things that you can use and remind yourself of. So I was trying some stuff out. I totally forgot to speak about that. I think that he should have a pose where he's the pose should tell the story of him. And the story is that he's about to get attacked, or he has this treasure map that he's really excited about. So in order to get that, I'm trying to think of a pose that can enhance that story. And I'm drawing what I believe to be relevant. I don't want to be drawing stuff that's not relevant. And you can see that I have been drawing a guy who sits down, and maybe he was looking at the treasure map at this point. There's also right beside where he's ready to stand up and fight. There should be a table in front of him where he puts his hand on. And you can see the new drawing that I'm making. I kind of trying to think about the dynamic lines before I get the shapes in. And that's a good way to start drawing these poses. I want him to be like thinking about drawing his sword. He knows that it's almost time to fight, so he's ready to do it, but it's not quite time to fight. It's just before hell breaks loose, because this creates a lot of tension and it makes the image exciting. The reason why I'm doing this pose is because I'm gonna use the pose in the image. So you can kind of see here that he's reaching out for something and ready to reach for his sword. So maybe he could reach out for the treasure map that he has. And I'm trying to remove, I didn't feel that the dynamic was right here. You can see there is kind of a line through his body. So now I feel like I have to look at some poses, because it's the same way when you made the thumbnails for the body. It can be hard to keep thinking about how the pose should be. So just went to Google and searched for sword fight, and there's a lot of interesting things right there. I mean, this is a way to be inspired, and also when you don't know how a pose should be, you can just search the internet and find out, because there's generally a lot of pictures of the poses that you are trying to do. So I was thinking that he could be in a bar and he could be really excited just before this moment, because he now got the treasure map, or he got some information that he could use to find this treasure. So he's ready to be a success now. He's waited all his life for this, so he's ready. But at the same moment, some of his enemies step in the door. And it's kind of this tense moment, because you know that they want it, but they don't know that he has it. So maybe there will be no fight, and maybe there will be a fight. So he kind of has to be cool and try to not think about it, to don't seem suspicious. At this picture I'm drawing a gun on the table. I don't know if you can see it's a gun, but it should be. And he should be sitting up to a table. Yeah, there it is. And underneath the gun there will probably be a treasure map or something like that. When I do this, I try to tell myself that I should at least do 10 thumbnails or 20 thumbnails or something like that. And even though I have been making some, and I feel like I don't want to do anymore, I have to keep going, because I know it's going to be better in the end. And when the result gets better in the end, it feels so much better. I promise you. So I would keep that in mind when you're doing this. And generally I think that I try to make things look right and not look unnatural. The important thing about a pose is the silhouette. So that's why I'm not really drawing anything inside the silhouettes. I'm just trying to get a nice silhouette out there. And here I'm thinking about how could his hand be and how could his facial features be. But the problem with this drawing I made here is that he doesn't really look scared. He looks like everything is okay. There's not a problem, or he's not aware of what's going on. And I want him to kind of know that something is going to happen, to create more tension. So here I'm just really quick drawing him, so I can well, I don't know why I did that. It's a bit weird. Well, maybe it was to get a general idea about how I should draw the thumbnails. Which shapes should I draw to get his character in there. And you can see that every drawing I made kept getting bigger and bigger, and it kept getting more and more detailed. That's actually a bad thing. You don't want to go into details here. You want to keep it simple, and your brain is trying to trick you into making a nice drawing. But nice drawing is bad in this case. You should make the ugliest drawing, but still with a nice pose, of course. So you can see, at this point I was actually thinking, oh, I don't really like any of the poses. The poses, well, they're okay, but they don't tell the story that I want. So I just kept trying, and I was searching Google kind of in desperation, because I wanted something cool to come out. But the trick is that the poses need to be clear what it says, and that can be really hard, because sometimes it's clear for you but it's not clear for the audience, and most of the time you actually have to take a chance. Maybe they don't know what's going on, and maybe they can't see it, but we just have to take the chance and hope. And you can see I actually drew the line of action in this one. And there is, of course, if you really want to be good at this, you should check out some classical drawing at how to draw dynamic figures. I don't got any tutorials at my side, but I know that Glenn Vilppu, he's a really good artist at this, and I had him as a teacher for a short period of time, but he has a really nice method that he uses, and this is also about how he can get the action of the character and how you can draw the dynamic lines. He also goes into rendering, and you should definitely check that out. I think he's the best teacher out there. I know that he had been teaching a lot of guys who went to CalArts and moved on into the business. So you can see the last pose is kind of what I want, but there's something about the line of action. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel natural to be standing that way. So I think I can remember if I think I tried to spice it up or do it differently. And again, I try to do it very quickly. And this is going to be the last one that I'm doing. And I kind of feel that that has potential. It has some of the things that I like. So I'm going to use that one when I move on to sketching, which is the next step. So here we learned a little bit about posing. I showed you the way that I do it, and I explained a bit about how you should go around it. It's a really large topic, so it's really hard just to tell it in these 10 minutes that I used. So if you want to go even more into that, you should check out some of the videos from Glenn Vilppu. But I hope you got something out of it, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So see you in a moment.